Wow, that was a lively hour of television.
Sure
I can't wait for Outnumbered Overtime. Oh, gee, baby. Yeah, I have to give you this ring back. I almost took out my chin when I did OT. Did you notice it was like out of order?
And do you realize that this is 17?
Look at this.
Wow. This is 17. You ought to wait till you see Denver's 50th and New England's 49th. I mean, the rings are at least twice as big now.
What?
And
My
weigh
arm would
twice
fall
as
off,
much.
I think.
They're 30
They're
pennyweight.
Beautiful.
For those that in the jewelry business.
Do you wear it all
heavy.
the time?
Only for shows like this and when I do speeches and presentations.
Just to show off. You don't sleep.
Well, you know what's funny? It's interesting. Yes.
Totally, I would.
But the other thing is so many. I see so many kids. And a lot of people have never seen one. And so what I like to do is let the kids wear them and get their pictures taken with them.
Oh, yeah.
So that at some point in time,
wonderful.
you know, you get to take. I've had guys come up to me that would say, hey, look, when I was 8 years old, you let me wear the ring. And now I'm 38 years old, and I still have the picture of you and I with the ring. So it's more than just ours. It belongs to a lot of different people.
All right, I'm going to read an angry tweet.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Go.
All right.
Angry Bird movies coming out.
Kat, Melissa, Julie, Harris, Joe. Cruz was not serious. Stop being Trump shills. You're misleading the people. So, breaking news during our hour of Outnumbered today was Glenn Beck interviewing Senator Ted Cruz. The question came up because it is Primary Tuesday, quietly Primary Tuesday. You know, Donald Trump still has not gotten to 1237. Hillary Clinton hasn't completely wrapped it up. But whatever the scape is, the landscape is, the question to Senator Cruz was, would you get back in if you won Nebraska tonight, which only has 36 delegates, by the way. And so this viewer is expressing the fact that our response to it made it look like we thought he was serious.
Well, you know what? Actually, whether he was serious or not, it's a serious issue. Trump is not at 1237. He will need Cruz's delegates, Rubio's delegates, Kasich's delegates. I forgot who else has delegates, but several other people. He will eventually be 1237, I believe, by the convention. But in case in case Cruz were to pick up the 36 today and going on, I'm not sure where else he's on the ballot going forward, but he does have a lot of leverage with respect to the platform because of those delegates. He does have a lot of leverage with respect to what Trump does and how quickly and easily he gets this nomination at the convention. And
that's interesting.
I think
it's
amazing
that
this guy can read Ted Cruz's mind.
But it didn't sound tongue-in-cheek to me.
Yeah.
I mean, in the conversation with Glenn Beck, it just didn't sound tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, you know,
and we played
if
the
I get back in, we'll go. And, you know, all of us heard the sound, so I'm assuming that's why we made the decisions that we made.
See, to me, it sounded like he was dragged to the answer, like they kept saying, but what if you won? And he said, but I won't. And they said, what if you won? But then his answer was, I would get back in. If the person at home who's tweeting at us doesn't think that he would get back in, or we wouldn't hear from him first thing tomorrow morning if he won. Right. I mean, if he won Nebraska, you bet we would hear from Ted Cruz first thing tomorrow morning. You think he would just quietly sit there?
How does a guy who's not even in the race win and not say anything? That would be incredible. That would be such a rebuke of Trump. Of course, he'd have to say something.
Right.
So we love our viewers. Susan K., thank you for that. I mean, we want to answer all of your tweets and get your voice here too. One of the things though that came up with you, Melissa, though, was really interesting, and that is, what if? And I don't know about the deal making and how that old wacky stuff works in Washington, but I did read the book Art of the Deal. And what if it really benefits Donald Trump to have that other, you know, the iron sharpens iron. Maybe he liked having an opponent. I don't know.
I think he needs it to keep the narrative going, because his whole thing is, I'm the outsider. I'm against everybody. I'm against the right
Trump?
And I'm against the left. Trump. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think they do a deal for Cruz to get back in?
No, I think keeping him like kind of barking on the sideline is really helpful. And this quote is helpful. And I think that it's too early, actually, for him to pivot right at Hillary. We have 6 months left. I mean, that's a little dangerous. You go head to head for 6 months. I think he still needs to run against. That's why he's talking about, well, Paul Ryan, we're going to sit down. And Paul Ryan's saying, I need to talk to him first. And Trump is saying, you know what? I don't care if the party comes together or not. I don't think I need a unified party. I think he still has to keep that narrative going, that he's not embracing the Republican establishment for as long as possible. So as long as anyone on the right continues to make noise, that's helpful to Trump.
I'm sorry, but he's got to be careful, because a lot of these people like Cruz, like Rubio, I'm using them as an example, it is in their interest for Trump Trump to lose. In a very cold, selfish
True,
reason,
too.
they
Yes.
want Hillary Clinton to get elected so they have another shot in 4 years. If Trump gets elected, that's 8 years of Trump. Their time will probably have passed.
Because the nation tends to elect
he'll run again.
incumbents.
No.
Is that right?
Well, right.
Is that why
so,
you're saying
yeah,
that?
not just that, but again, their time will have passed. So they certainly can't run against Trump in a primary if he's the sitting incumbent president. So
Right.
from a very selfish perspective, he needs to make them happy because he needs them invested, or at least optically invested, in his race. Paul Ryan's another example of this. Paul Ryan is somebody who could run very easily in 4 years. He needs to bring these people in. Not the least reason is because Hillary is on track to raise $1 billion. He's very behind in fundraising. Money is the mother's milk of politics. He said he's not self-financing.
That's a visual.
Yeah, well, it is. If you saw all these politicians at
Stop. Stop.
Did that happen at one of those parties over at Harvard?
Yeah, you know what? No,
apparently I missed.
I've got a visual of that.
I was interning for Ted Kennedy during those days, so I'm going to...
Oh, my gosh. Oh, good Lord, my goodness.
But can I just say, point of personal privilege here, because Kat and I were discussing this, that sometimes people tweet when we get into these little heated exchanges that we don't like each other for some reason because we don't politically agree on something.
Right. I know.
I love this girl. This has nothing whatsoever to do with any personality differences.
I love Julie.
And the people have to stop thinking that just because we don't necessarily agree on something, it means that we don't
so
personally
glad you
reject
said
it.
that.
It's wonderful that
That's
you two
exactly what we were
have
talking about.
a, being sort of the guy that gets to be that one lucky guy. It's great to hear the debate and the passion that both of you have on both sides, and the intelligence by which you present.
People are like, go get her. It's like, no, I really like Julie.
And people need to understand.
I actually noticed Kat moving over closer to me.
She's moving more to the right as I
That's because you gave her a Super Bowl ring. I mean, you know how we girls are. Give us a diamond.
Give us a diamond, off you go.
There was a lot of blame.
I want to get to the chat though, because
Right.
we got a lot of people signed on. Hubbly Bubbly says, you think that's his real name?
Yes.
Please ask Julie if FBI Director James Comey recommending a prosecution for Hillary Clinton would be damaging enough to derail her campaign. Thank you, he says.
Yes.
You
Oh,
think
my
that would
goodness.
do it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you have the FBI, the director of the FBI recommending an indictment, incredibly damaging. I mean,
What
possibly
if
legally
DOJ
damaging.
doesn't take it, though? And would we know?
I think we would know because Comey, don't forget, Comey is the guy that essentially, when he worked for the Bush administration, and they were doing something that he legally disagreed with, he made it known. I mean, he quit. He resigned over the fact that they did something that he wasn't in agreement with. He's not somebody who I think would be quiet about it, and I think we would know about it. I think the FBI agents who worked with him on this would certainly.
Well, they've already said they'll leak it.
And they'll leak it, and they should. And we should
through
know about
sources,
it.
they've said they'd leak
I
it.
think the Justice Department would have an incredibly tough time not taking it seriously if there was an indictment recommendation. However, if there is not an indictment recommendation, I truly wish people would at least respect Comey, enough to understand that he's not a hack. If he doesn't recommend an indictment, can we just move on, please? Because that's the other side of the coin.
So one of your cousins is on the live chat, Jamal Coors. Kat, when can I get an invite to the show? He would like to hang out with you.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, and Faye 3 Out wants to know who's wearing the most expensive shoes. That would be you, Mr. Ferragamo.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I don't. Melissa's are pretty.
Mine are,
nice.
are
Where have
cheap
we
and
gone?
fun.
So let's talk a little bit, if we can, today about, or now, because I'm seeing this trend with so many of these, I'm just going to scoop it up as one topic. So the primary tonight, you've got West Virginia and Nebraska for the GOP, and you've got West Virginia, which I guess has been a sticky wicket for some reason. Is it the coal miners' statement?
Oh, heavens, yes. What she
side?
said. What she said in March. I want to put the coal miners and the coal companies out of business.
You know, she tried to clean it up this week.
How do you clean that up?
Yeah, that's very clear.
I mean,
I misspoke.
I made this. You took it out of context. No, you said this. And I was watching some of the interviews this morning on Fox, and some of the people being interviewed at the diner there. They were talking to different individuals. And I found some of the comments by the individuals interesting. I'm voting against Hillary.
Right.
Well, then are you going to vote for Bernie? Well, I'm voting against Hillary.
Yeah.
It's almost like any other option is what's available to me because of what she said. You can't go into West Virginia. You can't go into the coal mining states and say, this is what I want to do. I mean, that,
want to take your livelihood.
Again,
Vote for me.
I'll take what President Obama said about the emails. That's careless and irresponsible. When you're going into West Virginia and you talk about doing this, I mean, how many people do you really want to upset?
Well, but if I could be Machiavellian about this, and I might be a little bit, it actually is advantageous to her for the Democratic base, because the Democratic base, one of the top 2 or 3 concerns among Democrats is global warming. Coal is a contributor to global warming. Democrats are very, very passionate about that. It's not a state that she's going to count on winning in November anyway. So for us to be bringing attention to her comments are going to hurt her today, but it doesn't matter whether she wins this primary. She's got the delegates to win the nomination.
So what you're saying is, excuse me, what you're saying is she doesn't care about the people of West Virginia.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Because
but that's what
that maybe that's what you're hearing. There's two things here. One is, look, and Melissa can speak to this, natural gas is ending the coal industry regardless of what Obama does. And actually, I think before Obama came in, coal jobs were about 50% down even before he came in from their height. Fracking, natural gas.
It just
solar
sounds
power.
so insensitive.
But wait a second, it's not insensitive.
Right.
And the second aspect of this that I think is very important to remember is that she does in her budget have $30 billion allocated for transitioning those people into other jobs. It's not going to be good enough for them. I understand.
Too bad she didn't say that on the day that she stood up.
No, but she did try to clean it up and say it again.
All right, real quickly, a couple things on the live chat as we ease on out of here. Dave Fick says, will Trump convince Ryan to get on board in the big meeting on Thursday he's talking about? Emily Trek says Trump will take Paul Ryan to school. Watch. I think a lot of people are keyed in. You made an excellent point during the hour of TV today. You said you have never known as much about a primary season and how the delegates work.
Right.
As you know right now. I think people are tuning in like never before.
I don't think it's necessarily will Donald Trump get Paul Ryan on board. I think it'll be a clarification of positions, a unification of saying this is where we need to go. Donald has been vehement over the last 2 months saying, let's unite the party. He keeps saying, let's unite the party. Let's unite the party. Everybody else is saying he's fracturing the party. That's not true. I think this is an opportunity to get with Speaker Ryan and sit down and say, okay, what do we need to do to defeat Hillary Clinton? What do we need to do for the Republicans to take back the White House? What can we do together and go forward?
Your phone is ringing. It's Reince Priebus from the RNC, and he wants to know if you'll come and quarterback the meeting.
Well,
you coming?
I'd be happy to.
Perfect. It's so good
if
to
I get
have
the
you.
invitation, thank you.
I'm
It's
so
great to be
glad
with you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to roll on out of here, and we're going to try on some more Super Bowl rings while you guys turn off. Goodbye.